Hello and welcome. My name is Maciej Soja, and in this video I will talk about biosphere. Life has been present on Earth for nearly 4 billion years. It can be found everywhere on its surface, from the cold Antarctica to the hot Sahara Desert, from the darkest depths of the Mariana Trench to the very top of Mount Everest and even beyond that. Life attains various shapes and forms, from single-celled organisms such as bacteria, archaea and protists, to the more complex fungi, plants and animals. Together, these organisms make up the biosphere, the zone of life on Earth. Different life forms favor different living conditions, which are determined by environmental factors such as temperature and humidity. The term biodiversity describes the variety of life within a region, both in terms of the raw number of species, the variety of ecosystems within the region, and the genetic variety within each species. Biodiversity varies over the surface of the Earth because living conditions vary over the surface of the Earth. One of the reasons why living conditions vary over the surface of the Earth is the tilt of its rotational axis. The angle between the rotational axis of the Earth and the axis around which Earth rotates around the Sun is approximately 23 degrees. Solar illumination changes depending on Earth's position in its orbit, which gives rise to seasons. When Earth's rotational axis is tilted towards the Sun, the northern hemisphere receives more solar illumination than the southern hemisphere. The northern hemisphere experiences summer, while the southern hemisphere experiences winter. 6 months later, when Earth is on the other side of the Sun, the southern hemisphere receives more solar illumination and the seasons are switched. Due to the different distributions of solar illumination within a year and different effective thicknesses of the atmosphere through which solar radiation propagates, differences between seasons are typically largest around the poles and smallest at the equator. As a consequence, plants and animals tend to create zones with similar species formation adapted to the specific living conditions. These zones are called biomes. In a biome map, we can clearly see a latitudinal trend caused by the axial tilt and the spherical shape of the Earth, although other aspects such as altitude, ocean currents and proximity to water also have a strong impact. Let's now have a closer look at the different biomes. In the regions around the equator, solar illumination is similar all year round and seasonal changes are very small. This is where tropical rainforests can be found. Many living organisms thrive in the stable environmental conditions of tropical rainforests, and the largest biodiversity on Earth can be found here. The tropics of Cancer and Capricorn are located at latitudes equal to the rotational tilt angle. These regions are located closest to the Sun in the summer, and they are protected by a relatively thin layer of atmosphere. These regions are usually hot and dry, and they are covered with deserts. Due to the tough living conditions, the biodiversity of deserts is generally low. Polar regions can be found at latitudes around and above 66 degrees, which is the complementary angle to the axial tilt angle. Solar radiation is severely attenuated by its long travel through the atmosphere, and solar illumination varies significantly during the year. These regions are cold and dry, and they are commonly covered with snow and ice. Similarly as for the deserts, biodiversity in polar regions is low due to the tough living conditions. The taiga, or boreal forest, is found in the northern parts of North America and Eurasia. It is the largest terrestrial biome, and it consists of the tough coniferous trees, primarily spruce, pine, and larch. Other land biomes include the treeless tundra in the very north and in the coastal Antarctica, the grass-covered steppes of Patagonia, Central North America, Central Asia, and Eastern Australia, the savannas of Africa, South America, and North Australia, covered with grass, bushes, and some sparse trees, the drought-resistant Mediterranean vegetation, primarily found in the Mediterranean basin, the southern coast of South Africa and Australia, and in the coastal California, and the temperate broadleaf forests, found, for example, in the eastern US, Central Europe, southeastern Australia, and eastern China. The biosphere plays a crucial role in the carbon cycle, a biogeochemical cycle in which carbon is exchanged among the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Along with the nitrogen cycle and the water cycle, the carbon cycle makes Earth capable of sustaining life. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is an important atmospheric gas as it contributes to the greenhouse effect, which keeps Earth warm and insulated from the cold outer space. Carbon dioxide is created in the processes of respiration, combustion, and decomposition. Carbon dioxide is converted into oxygen during the process of photosynthesis, which occurs in plants and algae with a green pigment chlorophyll. Human-caused or anthropogenic sources include burning of fossil fuels, cement production, and land use change, for example deforestation. Due to the excessive use of fossil fuels, as well as due to the significant land use change, carbon dioxide concentration in the atmosphere has increased significantly during the last century. At the same time, the mean temperature on Earth was also observed to increase. This effect is called global warming. Global warming is one of the largest threats to our world. It causes melting ice caps and glaciers, rising sea levels, flooding, changing precipitation, expansion of deserts, and extreme weather events. And although the general physics of global warming are well understood, current carbon cycle models are still inaccurate and in need for improvement. One of the most important elements of the biosphere are forests. In the next videos, we'll have a closer look at forests and we'll see how we can study forests, both from the ground, from air, and from space. We will see how remote sensing can help us to map and monitor global forests so that we can improve our understanding of climate change, make commercial forestry more efficient and sustainable, and improve management of natural disasters. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.